Just thought of another story while I was saying that. So my great-great-great-grandfather, or however many greats-grandfather he is, died at the Battle of the Somme. And he's on my father's side of the family. But on my mother's side of my family, my great-great-grandfather, is my great-great-grandfather? Yes. He was also a soldier, but he worked with the gun carriages, so pulling the cannons with horses. One day, he and the rest of his group of people were moving with a gun carriage, and a bomb exploded in front of them and blew a crater into the pathway, and my great-great-grandfather and the gun carriage and the horses, everything fell into this crater, and my great-great-grandfather was presumed dead. So this was in France, and so they continued moving forwards. He was presumed dead. They couldn't really stop to try and see if he was alive or anything, so they carried on. And then the way I know it is it was a few days later. It could have only been a few hours, but he crawled out of the crater alive, injured but alive. At this point he was now behind enemy lines, so you know, if he was seen he would be killed. And he went from farmhouse to farmhouse, abandoned farmhouses, to get back to the rest of his troops. And in one of the farmhouses he found a miniature tea set. And when I say miniature, the cups are about this big, like 2 inches tall. And he took them, and they've got forget-me-nots painted on them. They're white china with blue forget-me-nots. And he took, I think most of the tea set, as much as he could wrap in his handkerchief and in his pocket, and he brought it home for his daughter, my great-grandmother. And when my great-grandmother died, my great-uncle gave me the remaining china. And so at home I have 2 little teacups about this big. One is missing its handle, one is intact, though it's slight chip at the top, like the glaze is cracked. I have these 2 miniature teacups, and they're from World War I, and they wouldn't exist anymore had my great-great-grandfather not nearly died. So it's a bit of a strange story, and my great-uncle loves telling that story. And I love hearing the stories my great-uncle tells, because my great-great-grandfather died before I was born. I never met him, but his daughter, my great-grandmother, she died when I was 6, but she would always tell me fascinating stories, and I can still remember some of them, but not many. And one of the memories I have of her was where she lived. She lived in like, it wasn't a retirement home, but it was like flats that were like, they had people that checked on them every day, every other day sort of thing. And outside her window was the grass that was filled with daisies. And so me, my father and my brother went out and picked daisies, and then we made daisy chains with my great-grandmother. I remember that, and she always used to make cake. It was always fresh, like freshly baked cake when we went to visit.